Okay, so take a look at this tweet from Joe Biden's transition team. This is an example of the kind of thing I was concerned about. I think we're going to see a lot of feminist, social justice inspired laws that discriminate against men, and sometimes especially against white men. But I'll get into that in a bit. Here's what the tweet says. It's about rebuilding businesses affected by COVID. Our priority will be Black, Latino, Asian, and Native American owned small businesses, women owned businesses, and finally having equal access to resources needed to reopen and rebuild. So notice what that's actually saying. The priority is basically everybody except for white men. And notice how it says for the people of color, Black, Latino, Asian, Native American, then it's small businesses. But when it says women-owned businesses, it doesn't say women-owned small businesses, it just says women-owned businesses. And it's kind of making it clear without saying it, it's not really saying the priority are these groups. It's kind of like saying everybody except for white men. Now, I think this is the kind of discrimination we're going to see under the Biden administration. And it's not just going to be white men. I know this particular thing is about white men, but you're going to see, in my opinion, in the next 4 years, a lot of laws that are discriminatory against men in general. Similar to some of the things I talk about on this channel in the past, things like in England, having different prison laws, different legal systems for men and women, different pension ages for men and women, conscription differences for men and women. I think you're going to start seeing a lot more laws that discriminate against men, and sometimes, especially white men, in the next 4 years. But let's really break down what this is doing here. You're saying the priority is basically everybody except white men. What does that really mean? It means that you're leaving out white male small business owners. But how does that help? Like, how is that making things better for everybody else? Now, I'm not saying that people of color and women shouldn't be helped. I'm just saying, what's the point of leaving white men out? And some people might say, well, it's fair because of white male privilege. But if you look at this channel, what I've talked about in the past, the statistics over the last decade is that men of any race are really not economically privileged anymore. Men today, in my generation, are less likely to go to college, less likely to be employed, more likely to be homeless, and more likely to be in prison. And on an individual level, if you have a business, whether you're a white male or not, if your business shut down because of COVID, then your business shut down because of COVID. You're in that situation. You're not going to get some magical assistance or extra help because you happen to be a white male. If your business shut down, your business shut down. And think of something else too. If you're supporting a family with that business, then it's not just the guy being hurt by not being helped. His wife and kids are going to be hurting too. Or his husband and his kids will be hurting too. So if you have a business where the wife is the owner, and then a business where the husband is the owner, you only help the business where the wife is the owner and not the business where the husband is the owner. At the end of the day, doesn't that kind of do the same damage to not help one as opposed to the other? Because it's the same number of people who are now not eating and not getting an income because of that lack of help. So anyway, I put that tweet down in the description below. Keep an eye out. I'm going to start picking back up on Joe Biden and some of the things that are coming in. I am still doing that series on the potential of the war in China and the draft that has not gone away. There are some updates on that. Now that his cabinet is more or less confirmed, I can continue with that. So anyway, but keep an eye out because I think we're going to start seeing a lot of laws, discriminatory laws, coming out over the next few years. And again, if you are a man, but you're not a white man, if you're a man of color, believe me, there are going to be things that affect you too and discriminate against you too. Things like domestic violence, things like healthcare, and maybe not, this is just me speculating, but keep an eye out because I have a feeling that I'm right. And I have a feeling this is not the only thing like this we're going to see.